MatPat's most recent FNAF theories are big ones, and with them, I think we can figure out how the Ruin DLC will play out, get a general idea of what's to come, and understand the in-universe past even better. Before we begin, I recommend you actually do check out the game theory videos if you haven't yet, since this is what this video is facing off of, but in case you've forgotten or just need a refresher, here's a quick summary. The Ruin DLC will be all about the Aftons and finally closing the book on William, due to the colors in the title, our main character, which I will get into in a bit, and Burntrap, or maybe Blobchop now, being the main antagonist. Because nope, he did not die in that ending. Instead, he was absorbed by the blob, and since he has a soul and the blob doesn't, he's gonna be able to take control of it. Also, our protagonist's oddly close resemblance to Elizabeth Afton is not a coincidence. It is now believed that William actually built multiple Elizabeths after her tragic death, each representing a stage of her life, like Henry from the books did with Charlie, and our protagonist is one of them. This also helps clarify other things, like how Vanessa and Vanny were different entities even though they're clearly the same person, and helps make more sense of how Glitchtrap got into Benny's head and was able to manipulate her easily, since she is both a robot and technically her daughter. Anyways, our protagonist is gonna be the only one who can defeat this Afton for good, since in parallel to the books, something really similar happens. Another version of William Afton merged with agony-filled objects and created a giant trash monster known as the Afton Amalgamation. No joke, that's the actual name. Anyways, it gets defeated by the Stitch Wraith, what MatPat thinks is the standard for a protagonist. He is able to trap beings inside of their memories or make certain ones stronger. It is thought that our protagonist will be able to do the same or something similar. They're gonna have to go inside Blobtrap's memories and make the happy memories stronger, making the thing that fueled and created the blob, agony, vanish with it. And if you don't go inside its memories, it also means we're gonna visit Afton's memories, the memories of a broken man whose life and mind have turned to ruin. Hence the title of the game. And although MatPat doesn't cover it, I'm pretty sure by extension, we'll also find a way to explore the blob's memories, aka the memories of the past victims, since if our plan is to take away their agony, I don't think enhancing their killer's happy memories is gonna make them let go of it. Okay, that was as simple and as fast as I could explain it, but still, you really should watch the originals, they go into more detail. While basing off these theories, I think we can get an even clearer idea on what we will do inside the Ruin DLC and where the franchise will go next. The Ruin DLC will be all about us trying to find the subscribe button. All joking aside, subscribe takes 1 second. If you end up disliking me, you can always undo it and it would really make my day. Thank you. Alright, well if we'll have to enter and pass through Afton's memories, it means that we're gonna be revisiting some of the earlier places and events in the franchise, like visiting FNAF 3 and learning how he survived the fire and why he looks so different than the next games. Finally going and actually seeing Fredbear's family diner for the first time, and maybe even seeing Afton's completely early beginnings as a child, and also what led him to becoming a serial killer, if it already wasn't the loss of his children. Now, although far-fetched, the reason I'm saying this last part is because a month before Security Breach came out, artist Lady Fizzy had posted these two images, which were commissioned to be made by Scott Cawthon, claiming he asked for them a year ago. Lady said they couldn't say anything about these two, especially the second one. The first one, which I will get into in a bit, being sketches, and the other one being fully polished drawings. In the one on the left, we can see that someone dropped a cup of coffee or tea after looking at themselves in the mirror, and on the one on the right, a sad child. Now, as far as I'm aware, we have yet to receive information on what this is, and although this is a bit of speculation, this being art created or even to be used inside of the Ruin DLC would make a lot of sense if we're actually seeing Afton's past, for this to maybe be a younger Afton, and the house he grew up in or the house he owned, as this robotic doll does seem like something he would make, and the lady in the painting or photograph is similar to Ballora, an animatronic we know he built, which is also theorized to be a representation or based off his wife. Now, going back to the first image, if these also were to have been used inside the DLC, I think it would make sense for this to be a manifestation created inside William's head on what ruined and what his life revolved around, the animatronics. This being a mixed match of all the animatronics that he's connected to adds up. The cheekbones and small extra designs from the toy animatronics, the fur and soft materials from the originals, the stomach and face hatches that open from the fun times, the chunkiness and size of Fredbear's. And I think that if it isn't the role of the circus and balloon animatronics, they could be the ones chasing us while we try to explore Blobtrap's memories, since it is part of his mind after all, and he would be able to create anything he wanted to get us out, making the gameplay interesting and adding stealth to the game, as the Glamrox wouldn't be able to follow us into its mind. Anyways, whether they're the ones chasing us or not, here's how I imagine the ending playing. After also going through Afton's past, we are successful in enhancing or basically trapping the blob's mind while still being Blobtrap in happy memories, making the blob lose its powers and basically making making Afton no longer threatening. And whether if it's different endings or we do or do not manage to relate to Afton within the memories we see, which might sound a bit crazy considering what he's done and how difficult it might be to even feel a bit of sympathy for him, but still, either one, also trapping Afton inside his happy memories, so even though they might not be fully real, Afton understood that trying to be a good father and enjoying his time together with his son and daughter, since I'm fairly sure that's something he always really wanted after what happened to them, and even including Michael. Or two, if trapping William inside a personal purgatory where he's tortured physically for eternity by his own creations is not enough to retain him, instead of trapping him physically, why not trap him mentally and emotionally in his worst memories, like the trait had also done to another book antagonist, having to relive and re-experience the worst moments in his life, losing his wife, his children, becoming Springtrap, a punishment which even if he finds a way to move into another body or being would still follow him. Finally being gone, again, but this time permanently. We rescue Gregory, wherever he was, and maybe even Freddy. As I forgot to mention, it doesn't look like he's gonna be with us as he wasn't even with Gregory. Also, with Afton finally out of the picture, Vanny will be liberated from the virus. We may even befriend Vanessa as she might see what's really going on and find out what the truth of what she really is. As we're escaping, we find ourselves with an even bigger threat that we've ever seen. The actual mastermind behind it all. The owner of Fazbear Incorporated. Someone who preferably looks very similar to Baby or just like the two Vanessas. Another Elizabeth Bot, which looks older and different from the rest. They're the ones who made the lore of FNAF AR, where killer animatronics are sent to your doorstep, possible in the first place. The one who hired the indie developer to make light of what happened, and the one who also made possible Security Breach and Burn Trap by building the Pizzaplex on top of the FNAF 6 location to appease his father. The owner of Fazbear Incorporated, another Elizabeth Bot, being the next antagonist for the future of the franchise. As much as I really want this to happen and see it being plausible inside of the FNAF lore, the only reason I would be a bit speculative of this actually occurring would be that the normal Security Breach, where we just go around the Pizzaplex and walk, was glitchy enough, had to be cut out, and shortcuts had to be taken. So I think they might struggle a bit in making this happen, with being transported in small but still multiple locations, and probably having to make a lot of animations and cutscenes, with having already built a big place, wasting a lot of money in a already free DLC. So maybe they might just spend a big majority of the game inside the destroyed Pizzaplex, rescuing the Glamrocks, with each having an opposite boss battle instead of being destroyed, being healed from the virus and repaired, and just by the very end, speedrun to Blobstrap's memories and still make the ending possible. Wait, but now seeing how many sales Security Breach made and how much money they must have made from it, I hope that actually still might be possible. Anyways, if the Blob is agony, it made me think of what other animatronics might also be. I made a video on it, you should check it out. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to give me your opinions in the comments.